in the place of 1,000. So instead of saying 1,000, you'll see 1K, or hear someone say 1K, or 5K for 5,000. This is often used with distances. So we have a 5K run, so 5K. You could also say grand. You could also use the word grand in place of K. So you could say 2 grand. You could say 5 grand. This also just means 1,000. I paid 2 grand for that car. My tuition costs 2 grand, or 2K. It's just a way of shortening 1,000. You can use 1,000, it's fine, but you need to know this in case somebody says that something costs 5K. Then you'll know it costs 5,000. Change. Change is another key word that we need to go over, and it's going to be a very important part of this lesson. So change is the balance that a cashier owes you from what you paid and the price of the item. So if you paid more than what the item cost, you are owed change. So you only deal with change when you pay in cash. You won't get change for debit or credit, only for cash. So let's say you bought something. It's $22.50. $22.50. And you paid $50. You're owed change. You're owed $27.50. So your cashier may say, here is your change, $27.50. $27.50. Sometimes the cashier will count out the individual bills. So for $27.50, we might have a $20 bill, a $5 bill, 2 $1 bills, and 50 cents. So they may count it out for you to make sure you both agree that you're given the correct change. In restaurants, sometimes you have to ask for your change, because otherwise the waiter or waitress may think that the change is being given to them as a tip. It's very common, if there's a little bit of change left over at a restaurant, to just give it to the waiter or waitress as a tip. So if you don't want to give your change as a tip, or at least not all of it, you have to ask for your change. So you might ask for your change by saying, could I please have my change? Could I please have my change? Sometimes a waiter or waitress may ask you if you want the change. So they may ask you if you want the change or if the change is for them. If you want the change, you can just say, yes, please, and they will bring you the change. If you don't want the change because you'd like to leave it as a tip or gratuity, you can say, no, I don't need any change. Thank you. No, I don't need any change. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to go into a little bit more complex area of how to say certain amounts of money. So this can get confusing, so you may have to watch a few times, but how to say certain amounts of money in different ways. So for anything less than $100, it's common to drop the cents part of the dollar amount. So, for example, let's say we have $1.50. This is less than $100, so it's very common to just say 150, 150, or $1.50, $1.50. When we say 150 in this case, we mean $1.50. But we don't have to say it all out like that. We can drop the cents. So it's still technically correct, and it's perfectly fine to say $1.50, but you'll often hear people just say $1.50 or $1.50. $1.50 could also mean $150. So you have to be careful and use your own judgment whether you think the person is referring to $1.50 or $150 when they say $1.50. You should be able to tell from the context. If you're not sure, it's always okay to ask. So let me give you a few more examples. Let's say we have $10.50. We could say $10.50. $10.50. $10.50. $14.99. $14.99. So a lot of stores sell things with 99 cents at the end. In this case, we could just say $14.99. It's very common. $14.99. What about $2.49? It could be $249, or it could be $2.49. So $2.49. So you'll have to use context. If you were buying a coffee, let's say, it would probably be $2.49, unless it was really good coffee. If it's a TV or something like that, it would probably be $249. So they are said the same way, but you have to use context or use your own judgment to know which one it is. 25 cents. 25 cents. I already mentioned this, but remember 25 cents is a quarter. So you might just hear someone say, I owe you a quarter.